This video is for our March 10th Class 4 rowing school. We're looking at really high levels, and we're definitely going to choose safety over going on the river later on the course when the water potentially gets high. We don't know for sure what's going to happen, but anticipating that, we're going to change our schedule a little bit and really maximize the time we have on the river the first couple of days to focus on skills that we can. So we're going to skip some things we normally do day 1 and day 2 that we can put off later in case the rivers get super high and we can't go on the river or have limited time on the river, and just hammer some concepts day 1 for sure and day 2. And to prepare you for that, I want to do a couple of quick lectures just to really, so we can just jump in and hit the ground running and focus on a couple of key things that we cover in the course. The first one, which is a major topic of our courses, is leaving eddies as a team and catching eddies as a team. And our goal is to leave eddies so that we're on proper boat spacing with good boat order, which is actually very hard to do and something that we work on throughout the days in the course. And we're going to hit this hard on our first day and practice a lot. I can explain it and you can listen to me, but you won't always do it correctly until you've practiced it in the real world a bunch and hammered it down. So the first thing, when you're all ready to go, you really need to be ready to go. It doesn't mean you're just like tying your shoe or your boat's tied to shore. If you're ready to go, you're ready to push off. That way, when you're out here in boat order, there's not 2 boats spread out too far away and 2 that are still stuck on the shore. If this person swims, nobody's here to help them. You really want to be ready to go so that you're tight in your boat spacing when you leave. And we'll talk about tightness and how tight later. Don't worry about that for now. But our goal is leaving the eddy one after another to get going. And so once you're ready, which means you're ready, you're definitely ready to go. You're not stuck on a rock. You're not doing something else. The trip leader, the first boat, is going to raise their hand. And this is the signal we use. You can do something with your friends, but for this course, they're going to raise their hand. And once everybody's hands are raised, that's saying, I'm ready to go right now. If you raise your hand and you're just like, have things to do or you're not ready to leave, that's not fair to your team. And so that means I'm 100% ready to go. I'm focused. I'm going to push out as fast as I can. That probably means you're in your boat, but you could be on shore ready to push and jump in as well. It depends on the situation every time. And once the hand comes down, the first boat is going to leave the eddy and come out, and the second boat's going to be right behind them. This person is exposed. If they fall out, a swimmer typically moves faster than a raft. If they fall out, this is their safety. And so if this second boat is pretty far back, that creates a hazard for this first boat. So the second boat is definitely pretty close, and third and fourth boats are ready to go with good boat spacing. Which again, we'll talk about that later. We'll do our best to practice that throughout the course. But the key is being able to leave one after another pretty quick. If the first boat thought to catch this eddy, that wouldn't really be fair because the first 3 boats would fill it up and the fourth boat would float on by. And so when the first boat's looking for an eddy to catch, they need to think about an eddy that everybody can get into, which is going to be down here. So when they come down, you have good boat spacing. If for some reason these boats are far back, we solve this problem 2 ways. 1, this boat speeds up, and 2, this boat slows down. It's everybody working together to get in good boat spacing. So if things are off a little bit, that requires the first boat to be looking back like, oh, my safety is really far back. I'm going to pull on the oars. I'm going to slow down, maybe catch some slow water until everything comes together. What generally happens is some boaters, they're very comfortable in the water, so they're not focused wholly on the river. They can think about their position in the team. And some boaters are just 100% focused on what's right in front of them. They can't think big picture. So we generally put the people that can't think big picture in the middle, and then these boats sort of react to what they're doing. So the stronger boaters are out in front or in the back generally, and they're able to run the river, but also speed up and slow down as needed. So, but it does take everybody working together to make this happen flawlessly. And then you're going down, boom, boom, boom. When it's time to catch an eddy, then the first boat's going to catch it and think immediately, where is room for the next boat? The next boat's going to catch it. immediately, where's room for the next boat? If you are not ready for the next boat and these two are splayed out like this, the next boat doesn't have a place to stop. Sometimes that means you jump out of your boat as lead boat, you tie up really quick, and you jump on shore ready to catch that boat. And then this person jumps out ready to catch that boat. If the eddy's smaller, it requires everybody working together to help each other catch the eddy. You catch the eddy, okay, where's the next person going to go? And that might mean like pointing there. That might mean you just jumping out and grabbing them. It could mean a lot of different things, but it requires all of us working together to catch this eddy here. And we do it again. Once everybody's 100% ready, they put their arm up. The lead boat will start, arm up, all the arms up, lead boat leaves. Second boat's right behind them. Third boat, fourth boat, boom, boom, boom. If one boat is still stuck on a rock and these boats go downstream, these boats have to do something to wait up for this boat, who is an irresponsible boater. So this is a really important topic in boating. It might not seem to you right now. You're like, oh, I just want to learn how to row better and go through cool stuff. But to provide proper safety for each other on harder rivers, we have to be able to leave eddies and enter eddies as a team so we can provide safety for each other. Again, that's the first big topic, and that's something we're going to hammer this tomorrow because we have good flows to do that on the Clackamas River. The other big topic is what I'm going to call pulling away from the line to danger. And so a major theme of the course is to talk about when to pull on the oars, when to push on the oars, and when to downstream ferry, which if you don't know what those mean, we'll get into them a little bit. Pulling on the oars means pointing your boat and pulling backwards while you're looking downstream, right? And in this rapid, this will be the first rapid we run, there's a wave train, a set of V's that go right to a wall. And if you come down and you hit the wall, it could spin you into this eddy. And this eddy is really hard to get out of. It's an eddy you don't want to be in. It's a hazard. If you swam in this eddy, that would be a really bad thing. But if you're in a rafting eddy, it's going to be a project for all of us to get you out. We might have to send a kayak over. We don't know exactly what we're going to do. We just don't want you in that eddy. So the way we do it is when there's known hazards like this, we want to be conservative. We're going to make maneuvers by pulling back on the oars because that makes us, we're stronger pulling. We have view of what's going on and it's defensive. We're going slower than the river. And this is a rapid we want to be defensive on. So think about, this is the hazard. There's a line. We're going to call this the line to danger that's going to the hazard. This is also a hazard, but the real hazard is hitting the wall and getting spun into the eddy. And what we want to do is pull away from that line. So we're going to come down. We see there's a line. The line's not in the river. It's imaginary. You have to imagine what's going straight to that line. I'm going to pull. I'm going to point to it. I can point 45 degrees. I can point 90. 90 is really effective because you're just pulling to shore. 45 degrees works. It depends on the situation. Less than 45 degrees, useless. Any less than 45 degrees, you're just fighting the river. It's not useless. So you want between 45 and 90 degrees, and you're just going to keep pulling away from that line. And if you get too far to the right, that's good. You just slow down a little bit. But you keep doing it until you're past the danger. So you're just going to keep pulling the oars until you're past the danger. And the nice thing about this technique is as you're pulling, if you don't make it, right, your angle's wrong, you hit it with your bow and generally bounce off, right? Hitting things with your bow is not a big deal. Some people will say, no, I'm macho. I heard that pushing is where it's at. That's the cool thing. They will try to push. And if you push, I'm pointing forwards, now I'm pushing forwards. If you push, you're weaker pushing. You're much weaker pushing. If you don't make it, you end up hitting the hazard sideways. And generally, hitting things sideways is worse than hitting them straight. And so you want it, here, this is where you hit it, you flip, or you ride up and end up in the eddy. Pushing is more aggressive, but you're using your weaker muscles, and you end up exposed to the danger. And so I'm going to ask in the first rapid for sure, and we'll talk about when to push, when to pull downstream ferry more in the course. that you look downstream, you see the wall. We'll scout this rapid too. And you just pull and pull and pull and pull with at least 45 degrees up to 90. You can go to more than 90. If you go, here's 45. If this is 90, more than 90 is a downstream ferry. You could do that. We're not going to go into that now. But at least 45 degrees, pull into there. You will be fighting the river a little bit, but it's going to be defensive. It's going to be conservative. One thing that's also going to happen is these lateral waves here, you're going to hit sideways. So you're going to hit it. It's going to surf you back to the middle. Pull, hit it, surf you back to the middle. Pull, hit it, surf it back to the middle. So you may have learned to push a lot of things, but here's where I'm going to say we really want to be defensive. And it's going to be some work. You're just going to have to consistently pull so that we all make it down into these eddies together. Next boat's going to come in. Pull right into here. The biggest hazard here, the biggest area where people make mistakes is if they enter too close to each other and one person's pushing, one person's pulling. So if this person's pulling, pull, and this person's like, no, I'm a pusher, push, they're going to interact. And they're going to hit each other and they're both going to be in trouble. And so this is where a good boater can do any technique, right? If this person's pulling, this person, even though they can push everything, they're masters at pushing on the oars. They choose the same thing, so they move in unison. They time themselves down the river together. So that's good team boating. You may have a different way you want to run the river. You might have a thing you want to do, but your number one thing is maintaining your boat spacing with that boat. So you're going to choose a different technique to go at the same speed so you can run the river together for safety. And that's what we call team boating, a major topic of the course. So just to review, tomorrow in the Clackamas, because we know we're going to have good flows to do a lot of river stuff, we're going to skip a lot of stuff we normally do, a lot of formality stuff we can push into later on in the course. We're going to focus on leaving eddies as a team. The big thing is when the trip leader's ready, they put their arm up. When everybody else is 100% ready, arms up. You leave one at a time, work together, adjust on your way down. That's our first thing. And the next thing is we're going to practice pulling away from the line to danger in the first rapid and a few other places. So that's it. If you have questions, put them in the comments, of course, and we'll see you tomorrow morning.